lanes, I've been driving this train. Years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play, and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no, I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capping space. I won't stop till I hear him say,
welcome back. We are back with Match Me Abroad Season 2, Episode 8. What do you think, Elsid?
It moved. I have a lot to say for the fact that I did not see my favorite Harold. Okay, for the fact that I did not see him, it gave me.
I just realized I was on the wrong photo. Yes, it did. I thought so too. I thought this was one of the better episodes that I've seen thus far. I thought so too, because everybody had some kind of drama, some kind of something going on, right?
Oh, and yeah.
I enjoyed it. Well, is the weathering where you are? Because we're in the 90s again today.
Yeah, we're in the 80s, but it's cloudy, so the sun isn't as intense, but we are definitely hot.
Yes. Okay. All right. And I want to give a shout out to you real quick. You know, Elsid has got membership over on her channel now. I know those of you who are already subscribed to Elsid, you are very aware of this, but we're going to give shout outs to Moondust Angel, who became a member over on Elsid 932 channel. And we've got the next one, Miss Boogie Down. Hey now, Miss Boogie Down. Is that like the Bronx?
Yes, it's the Boogie Down Bronx.
Down Bronx.
That's my girl. That's my girl.
Yeah. And then you got Mr. Trey Mack. Hey now, Mr. Trey Mack. To Go to Africa, obviously, is also a member. And I'm a member. Somebody gifted me a membership. So I was fortunate enough to be in on one of the first members only live. And it was very exciting.
Yeah, we have a members live. I'm trying to keep it on Mondays at 8:05, but there's always member content. I may throw in a member live tomorrow. I don't know. I'm off of work though. But yeah, we have fun. We have fun. We look at stuff, we talk about stuff, and we give, it's 18 and above conversations, okay? Behind the YouTube wall, so we could be a little freer to talk.
Yes, it was definitely a little risque in there, and I loved it. Yeah, so this is so fascinating. Like I said, this episode. So we're gonna go ahead and get started, and it looks like. Oh, okay. I'm not. Oh, my board is trying to tell me something that it thought I was trying to do that I really actually was not trying to do to it. So
yeah, I was challenged with technology yesterday, so I understand.
I'm challenged every day, every day. Yeah, so we're gonna start with our girl Victoria. Victoria meets up with Darren. That's the comedian guy that she met for the first date at the comedy club. They're meeting again now. They decided on their first date, toward the end of their first date, that they were going to get matching tattoos. Can you believe that, Elsid?
No, I can't. I'm sorry. I'm not going to a foreign country and let somebody give me a tattoo. I do not know the rules, regulations, and I don't know you.
Well, no, I mean, don't you think that's a fun, adventurous thing to do? It's better than putting hot sauce in the eye.
I prefer the hot sauce because I am not leaving with permanent mark of the hot sauce in my eye. Come on now. You can do that to yourself. I'll call 911 while I head to my hotel. But this one, I'm going to have this mark on me forever.
Yeah, that part. Well, what I thought was, at least they didn't actually get each other. They actually got what appears to be what was a ghost. And it was on the first one, it said before. and then there was another small ghost, and on the second one it had boobs, and then it said after. What did you think of that?
My thing is, why is Victoria every time she's talking and she's leading with her boobs? Why? They're a tasteful size. I have to give her that. She
Yeah.
had she had the job done. It is at a tasteful size. It certainly, looks very good and looks very natural on her. Why do we lead with the boob talk? Why now we having this man tattoo boobs on him on a ghost? A ghost has no gender. Come on now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I thought the artists, the two artists, tattoo artists, they seem to be very understanding. Now, Victoria says this is the kind of living on the edge that she likes, and that her friends and everybody else is probably going to think she's crazy after this. And I thought to myself, your friends and acquaintances that know you, they probably already think you're a little different and eccentric.
Right. It's the people like us who don't know you, like myself. I'm gonna say for a second date, this is a little too much. I wouldn't have matching tattoos. We could go to the tattoo parlor because I love the name. It was called Inclusive, but it was INK. It was really
Hmm.
cute name.
Yeah,
I
that
I would be
was.
like, I need to get a tattoo in Ireland. Let's go, but it ain't gonna be matching. It will commemorate my trip, but we
Yeah,
ain't gonna be matching.
that's what I thought. But you know what? I will say she already had the clover. She had a three-leaf clover, because remember last week I thought maybe she could do like a four-leaf clover, and that way it's not. It's like you said. It's more. It's a tribute to her trip there, her first visit. But apparently her father was all into the Celtic of it all, so she just decided to do something that her father had, which was this three-leaf clover.
Right. Her father had a Celtic style three-leaf clover she has on her right hip. And he did ask her, her date, I believe Devon, um, he did ask her if she was going to do more tattoos that her dad had, because this wasn't the only one that, mirrored what her dad had. And I thought that was very interesting. And we didn't get to see much of that part of the conversation.
Right, right, right. I mean, I thought that it was interesting. So she says that Katerina told her to be vulnerable on this date. So what she decided to do when they were talking about, she said that this was something her father had, and then she was saying that, well, my father got his first tattoo when he was in jail, and then I thought it was really kind and subtle the way Darren said, well, it, may I ask you what he was in jail for? And she said, well, yeah, he was in jail for drugs, and he was in jail off and on pretty much most of my life growing up. How, how do you think he handled that? He looked a little startled at first.
Yeah, he looked really startled because, it wasn't clear to us. Maybe it was editing. Was he a dealer? Was he a
Yeah.
user? It was kind of like, do I have to be concerned? Because, we'll get to, there's a data here that likes to pull up research and statistics. We'll put up a little bit here. Back in the day of when her father was going around, that the chances are that your child may become addicted as well.
Yeah.
So, and
Yeah.
she has said, Victoria said that's also why she does not wish to have a child, because of that possibility. So when he hesitated, I think she understood the hesitation, but the fact that she don't have a record, we don't know if she's had run-ins with the law though, but she could fly to Ireland, so we know she ain't that bad. Okay, she got a passport. She could
Got her
leave the
passport.
country.
Right. Yeah. So she's able to leave the country, and she's holding down a good job and this type of thing, even though it's in the I think that's in the spirit industry, alcoholic and adult beverages, right?
Right. I wish you would have done that. I would have understand like two beer bottles, each with a little thing on it. I would have understood that, but I digress.
And so as she was talking about her father, she also began to say, well, her mother, she really didn't spend a lot of time. She didn't really too much know her mother. It sounded like to me. Maybe you might have gotten a different take on it. And then when he asked her, he said, well, she said, well, my father's deceased, my mother's deceased, and the lady who raised me, which was her grandmother, she said she's deceased. Everybody in my family is gone. And that's when I think he really looked at her and he got really quiet and really very, caring voice. He said, "You know what? I don't know what that's like. So far, I've never lost a loved one yet, but I imagine that has to be really kind of traumatic on you." Do you
He
think
also
he
said he
Mhm.
also said he'd never been to a funeral before.
Never been to a funeral before? That's right. Which I thought, wow, that's like wow. When I was a kid, I used to go to them all the time.
Well, because we used to be dragged to funerals, we wouldn't be left behind.
Mm-mm.
If our family was going to a funeral, we all go into the funeral. But
Yep.
it's kind of like the same thing when I hear there are some young people who've never been to a wedding, and then I'm like, you know what, that is true because a
Yeah.
lot of folks aren't getting married in the traditional sense or way that we're used to. People going to Vegas, people going to courthouse, people getting married on a
Mm-hmm.
cruise ship. People,
Mm-hmm.
people just doing
That's
something
true.
really small. You
That
know,
is very, very true.
hey,
That is very true.
COVID taught a whole bunch of people that you don't need all this.
Mm-hmm.
You could get the marriage is what's important, not
But
necessarily
the
all the
wedding.
bells and whistles.
The wedding, yeah, because as you're saying this, I'm thinking about another show, Love After Lockup, and I think her name is Justine. She wants to have this. Now they're already married. They already did, I think, at the courthouse, so they're already legally married. But or they got married, I think, no, when he was in prison. So now she wants to have a big, beautiful wedding, and she's talking about spending upwards of $60,000. And he's saying, "Well, babe, we've got all these businesses that we got to keep afloat, and we've got to invest in. How about we invest in the businesses and do the wedding?" From the investment, from the proceeds, the returns from these businesses. So yeah, that a lot of young people haven't been to weddings. That's odd to me too, because that was something, again, as a kid, we probably had at our church at least 4 or 5 every summer. And usually the thing of it is, if you didn't go to a really huge church, you probably were involved in the wedding in some way. You were an usher, you were helping out, you were a flower girl, you were a bridesmaid, or you were a groomsman. So yeah, that is kind of odd to hear young people say that they don't go to weddings anymore. They haven't been.
Heck, I've had it both ways. I've had the under 100 though, the banquet hall. But my second wedding to Mr. El Cid, it was at the gazebo at a friend's, lovely posh gated community, and it was
Mhm.
just six of us, okay, including
Yeah.
the preacher, including the preacher. So,
Mhm.
but I understand people want what they want. I ain't
Yeah.
trying to spend a whole lot. What we did spend is it was six of us. We did go out for a very lavish lunch, and I thought that was a better way of
Mhm.
spending money, rather than all the other bells and whistles. It was his second, my second, and I
Mhm.
was like, "Listen, preacher, these shoes hurt. I need this ceremony to be 10 minutes."
Now, why did you wear the uncomfortable shoes? Is my question. Why? Why? Why?
Cause it looked good, okay? It looked good, and I don't wear heels. This is probably the only time this year I'm gonna wear heels, so I'm gonna need it to look good.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. 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 Yeah, my daughter, she just got married a few months ago, and I was telling people, she said, "Oh, was it a big wedding?" And I said, "No." I said it was less than 10 people, like you said, including the officiant. And it was a lady, and she brought her husband. He was there to witness it, and it was very lovely. It was also in a gazebo in the national park in Washington D.C. Um, Overlooking all the monuments and whatnot. It was very, very beautiful. And I think it was very apropos because they're both former military, and the name of the gazebo is it's like the war heroes or something like that. So it was very apropos. But yeah, she didn't spend a lot of money on her wedding. And the small gathering and party she had at her home, their home afterwards, very nice, but nothing too much over the top.
Yeah, nothing too much. My thing is, yes, I'll let everybody know we're getting married or whatever, but um, it for me it's way way too much, to all the party and everything. But I understand many families treat the weddings as a reunion and a gathering. So I
Hmm.
do understand those who wish to do that, who want to, use it as a way to get the families together because, not a whole lot of families, are doing the separate reunions with the cookouts and all that stuff in the park. So I understand why some do that. I ain't doing it to where I cannot afford it, but definitely, as you said, we as kids were taken to every wedding, we were taken to every funeral, and I guess people were able to keep up with the whole family that way.
Yeah, yeah, that was the thing. You'd either and that year you would see your family and close friends because inevitably somebody's going to pass away or somebody's going to get married. But now can't really say so much about the weddings. But I thought that these two, I thought they did well for what it was. Um, do you feel like when she expressed all this sorrow, I mean, not sorrow, but when she expressed about the many deaths that she had in her family, do you feel like maybe that was too much, or what was your thought?
I think it could be too much, but the way she talked about it wasn't too much. She gave it to him in doses. Like, okay, my dad passed away, and he's like, okay, well, who raised you? Okay, my grandma passed away. Okay, what about your mom? Oh, well, I don't know that lady. Didn't know that lady, but she passed away like umpteen years ago. So it was in doses. It wasn't her just, you know, going
Rat-
all over and da 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 da. But
yeah,
he was
rattling it off. Yeah,
right. He
that's true.
asked questions and he was interested. He was absorbing it. I felt he was really listening and absorbing and looking because this look on his face was like, oh,
Yeah,
because
yeah, he
now he's
was.
thinking, now he could be thinking two things.
Hmm.
I don't have a family to meet.
Hmm.
Okay, I don't have a dad of yours to meet. I don't have a dad or family to impress. Now, either he's thinking, dang, I'm going to be your everything, or he could be thinking, oh, ain't nobody going to beat me up if I break your heart. You know, we don't know how he's seeing it. I don't see him as necessarily sounded bad, but I just don't, I don't think she gave it to him too fast, too much. But he shared too. That's what I enjoyed. He did share his family woes.
Yeah, yeah, and so he was saying that. Now this surprised me, because this is over in Ireland in Europe, that he did not know his father, which really sent some thoughts through my mind. But that's a whole nother story. But okay, he
Why?
did. Well, no, because okay, so when he started talking about his siblings, he had a sister, his sister and his mom he got along with, right? He said he had a brother that he's not speaking to. My question in my head was after he said no father didn't know him, do they have the same fathers, the three of them? Do two of them
Okay.
have the same fathers? Well, that was part of my question and my reasoning.
Oh,
And
I
then
didn't. I didn't so care much about that because no matter where we are in the world, some people the dads bail. I want to know why you ain't talking to your brother.
yeah, that part too. Well, that's a question I definitely had. And
Is
then
that
I
the
know
reason you left construction? Is that? I mean,
that's what I was wondering. Does he get along with men well? Because he was the only person that he wasn't talking to was the one male in the family. So, you know, I don't know.
well, this owner of this place, the dude is supposed to be a friend of his. So maybe it's the man in the family, but the guy who owned this shop that we saw was supposed to be a friend of his.
Ah, okay. Well, yeah, yeah, that's true. But I don't know. I just think sometimes we all have, many of us have childhood trauma, and the way it plays out in our adult life can be very interesting. Like maybe he gets along with the tattoo artist because the tattoo artist has a certain type of personality. He seemed to be very laid back. Maybe his brother is not. Maybe his brother is more what we might some might call an alpha male, and he doesn't get along with that type of personality. That's what I was wondering.
You thinking good of the brother, I'll think good of him and I'll think bad of the brother. We just on other sides of the coin.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I mean, like I said, I'm not thinking bad of him for it, but I just think that probably both of them have some unresolved trauma from their childhood. That's what I was hearing. But
Right,
the
right.
fact that they were able to talk about it and she was able to be vulnerable the way Katerina had asked her to be vulnerable, and like you said, she didn't just pour it all out, like regurgitate it without him. He had to pull some of it out of her, and I thought
Right.
that was good. Does
Right,
that
he
show
did. He
that
was interested. He definitely showed
yeah,
he was definitely interested.
right. Yeah, that's the part. Right. That that he was interested and he stayed focused on her and she stayed focused on him and in the moment. I like that because I've got a feeling, just a thought, just my feeling, that Victoria in the past probably blurted out a lot of this without somebody really asking her questions about it.
Or maybe she kept it hidden because if Katerina is telling her to be vulnerable and open up, she may not have shared this with anyone while she's dating them.
Well, do you recall when we first met her in the early episodes? Her friend told us that one of the things that Victoria does is that she will early on in meeting someone, she will pour out all of this trauma, all of these deaths. So that's why I get the idea. No, that's not that the way she handles it. She normally does pour it out. But maybe this time she waited for him to ask questions because the average person, they may not even be interested in you. And if you're sitting up there pouring out all these deaths and trauma, and I'm looking at you like, well, but I didn't ask you about that. That's what I'm thinking inside. I may not say it, but like, what? Why are you going on and on and on? Unless I ask you questions about it.
It could be, but she doesn't give me she wants to tell every and anybody about her traumas.
Yeah, I
Even though
don't
the
know.
friend may say she says
That's
it a
not what
lot.
her friend. Yeah, that's what
Right.
her friend said. Yeah.
Right. I don't think she tells every and anybody. Maybe somebody she's truly interested in, she tells them way too early. But she's a little walk on the wild side lady. I wouldn't be surprised if she had some one night stands who didn't know her name was Victoria. Okay.
Yeah, that part too. That part too. But anyway, overall, how do you think she did on this date?
Apart from approving the tattoo, she did very well on this date.
I knew you were
That
gonna say
tattoo drawing was not it.
I knew you were
Did
gonna
you
say
have a
something about
picture
the
of it?
I did not. Oddly enough.
Y'all, if you see these ghost stick figures, oh,
Yeah, that's
I'll
all
put
they
out
were.
I'll put
Very
out
simple.
a short that has it at the end.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's very simplistic. It was very simple, like a kid could have almost drawn it. It was just before flat flat ghost and then after ghost with boobs.
Mm-mm-mm.
That was it. Yeah. So let's see here. And so our next dater that we're moving on to is Brother Tony. Brother Tony, he finally met the girl of his dreams physically. She had everything he wanted. She was physically fit and fine, long brown hair, thick, like he likes it. She was Brazilian, all of these things. And what does she have to go and do? He asked her if she had any children. And she said, no, no children. Ah, but I have a dog. He's like my child. And then I'm sorry. She said, I have a dog. And he says, oh, is your dog like your child? And she kind of went along with it. She kind of hesitated, but then she kind of nodded and said, well, yeah, Does the dog sleep in the bed? Tony asked. She said, yeah, the dog sleeps in the bed. Why did she say that? Tony just could not handle it. Now the her being physically similar to his ex-girlfriend now all of a sudden it's just way too much. He can't deal with it. It brings back memories of the ex. What were you thinking during that when he was talking about that?
He had said that she brought up memories of his ex when he first, the cute button up nose, the long hair, the this is this. And, this should be called, at least a few of these daters, this should be called, talk of the exes.
Mhm.
Because why are we bringing up that the girl I dated in Tampa, my ex girlfriend, you look just like her? Why do we have to bring that up? At least, I'm glad I now know what part of Florida to find or avoid Tony. Okay. Um, But the thing is, he liked her. He thought she was cute. And then he heard the
Mhm.
dog in the bed. Now, Tony,
And
I
didn't
have
ask any
to.
questions. Like didn't ask any questions. Well, if you had a man and you got serious in a serious relationship, would you mind the dog not sleeping in the bed? That's all he had to ask her. He never asked her any questions.
He never asked any questions. He made an assumption because he kind of knew from experience with, other folks with the dog in the bed. He's not comfortable with it. He did not even say, hey, as you said, he did not say, hey, I'm not comfortable with a dog in the bed. You could even make it jovial, say, "Hey, can I replace the dog in the bed?"
Oh, I like
He
that.
didn't even say that. He was just like, nope, Fluffy
No
ain't leaving, but I
dogs.
am.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they took them on a jujitsu date, y'all, because Tony said he into jujitsu and stuff. And I was like, you mean like he was into fitness with the whole huffing and puffing while he trying to do some push-ups? I think Tony just watches it on TV and tries to emulate it in his living room, okay? He did not look like he knew anything going on that mat but the basics. My son has been in wrestling and grappling and all that, and I was like, Tony, I got more skill than you. Come on down.
Yeah, that she was actually better. She said this was her first time doing the jiu-jitsu, but she had done other martial arts and she picked it up very quickly. More
Yeah,
quicker
I
than he
mean,
did.
yeah, many of them have the same fundamentals.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
But Tony
That
liked
makes
to be choked. We saw that.
yeah. Well, the thing that speaking of the joking, the thing that I liked about this date, you bring that up, is that it was very physical without being over the top. And it wasn't like sexual physical necessarily, but you felt like you could feel the energy. He was attracted to her and she was attracted to him until the incident about the dog. Like what I'm beginning to wonder if Tony is not if he's not pranking us because I don't think he really wants a romantic relationship. I really don't.
I don't know if he's pranking us. He could be. I think he is a prank with some of the stuff that he does, what his specifications are for a woman, and then he been pranking the ladies on the dating app with his filtered fake AI images. So
Right.
he is a prank. But yes, I do like the jujitsu date. You got to physically touch your partner in a non-sexual way.
Hmm.
So I really liked it. You got to, feel around and realize he's more pudgy than he let on. But
Right.
it certainly was a way, and he was all macho, like, oh, now I know she could defend herself if I'm not around. Tony, what? What you gonna do?
If you were around, exactly
You're
right.
not gonna be around because you're gonna be back in Florida while she in Brazil.
You know, I really liked her. They asked this girl. One of the producers said, "Hey, do you find him attractive? Are you attracted?" She says, "Yeah, Tony is pretty. He's very pretty." And I thought, I don't know if they gave us her age or not, but I thought the comparison between the two, she was young and fresh and bubbly. And, she's saying her saying that she was attracted to him. I'm thinking, man, you need to get over whatever hangups you've had in the past and go with this lady right here because you're not offering as much as you think you are to be requiring all these various things from women. You're really not. Your market value is not what you think it is, Tony.
My thing is, does she know that hairline is tattooed? I mean, she needs to know exactly what she's getting. Okay, she needs to know exactly what she's getting into with Tony, and him kind of rejecting her because she looks like the ex, or also because the dog is in the bed. I'm
Hmm.
like, please, 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 Tony,
Stop
save
it.
us. Just go home.
Right, right. And then, so the day was over. And I thought, what did you think? I thought that was kind of rude the way he ended the day. Well, oh, I'm tired now. And but thank you for coming out, like as an afterthought. What did you think about the way he ended the date?
It was a little dismissive. It was,
Mhm.
no thought that maybe we could do a second date. Maybe that's appreciative by some, but some people say, even if you're lying to me, just, say, give me the hope that there may be a second date. But it was a little like, thanks for the exercise. I'm going home.
Thanks for the exercise. Yeah, I thought it was like you said. I think the word that resonated with me when you said dismissive. Tony seems to be always dismissing people for one reason or another. I don't know if he's just been hurt so badly and he has not healed from it that he's afraid to be rejected again because I don't understand him. Like I said, I think he's a prankster because like why did he come on this show? All of these beautiful women that we've seen that he's had access to and he still hasn't went on a second date or picked one to go on a second date with. I don't believe he's serious.
I think he is serious. I don't think he understands how he comes across. I'm hoping that after seeing this,
Hmm.
that he knows how he comes across, but he may not be the type of person that is open to the editing of it all.
Okay. Okay.
But I like this sweater. I did like. I said, "Oh,
Did. Me
Tony,
too.
okay."
We have similar tastes. I did think that I thought the sweater was nice too, and it looked nice on him. But to what you were saying, yeah, I've been thinking for a while now. Tony actually does like lack self awareness, and that's a big problem that he has this. Oh, I know what it was. I wanted to say he has this narrative, right? He has this narrative of himself. He has this narrative of women and how they should be, and it's just not realistic. So we have Lusa. They meet up, and she asked him about the date, and right away he's whining and complaining. Well, she was beautiful, but she looked just like my ex girlfriend, so I can't go on a date with her because I'm a baby, basically. Wah, wah, wah. Also, she has a dog that sleeps in the bed with her. Wah, wah, wah. you know, it was just crazy. I was like, what? And Louisa was looking at him the way I would have looked at him, like, "Are you nuts? Did you see how beautiful and young and tender that tenderoni was? Did you see? Are you blind? What's going on?"
I have to say, Louisa, you looked impeccable on this date. You looked impeccable. Okay, the matchmaker looked amazing on this walk with him. To
Yes.
get the breakdown, she was so hopeful because she's like, "Hey, you know when you leave the exam room as a kid and you know, like, oh, I did good on that test. I knew all the
Mhm.
answers. I studied right. Yes, this gonna be good." And then you get back the paper. Some of us who did that get back the paper and realize you fell for the trick answers that were kind of right but weren't right.
Mhm.
Tony disappointed her, because she was on a high saying, "Hey, oh, she looked like your ex. Well, okay, she has a chance because it's your type." She's going
Mhm.
on and on. Then he's like, "Yeah, but studies have shown that women who sleep with a
Oh yeah.
dog in the bed got low self-esteem."
Where? Where? What are your sources, Tony? What are your sources? Give us your sources before you get to quoting all these numbers and conclusions. Where did you get this from? This information from?
I researched it, so it's on Google, so you know that's right. That's probably what you're gonna say. I know how
No.
to work the Google.
He went on Reddit and he found this. He found some people, his people, that they think the way he thinks. Because I think that I will say, I don't think he's the only man who thinks like this. That's so unrealistic and so delusional. He's not the only man out there like this, right?
He is not the only man out there like this. I'm glad his type is being showcased. Okay, but Louisa was like, "It seems like you haven't gotten over that ex because he
Yep.
didn't talk to this young lady about the dog, about arrangements. What do you think about?" Because he's like, "Well, if I got to talk to her, she's equating the baby with, the dog is her baby. And, and she's like, what if we do have a baby? Is the dog going to take preference over the baby? I don't want to have to deal with that." And I'm like,
Conversations in his head.
assumptions that he's just belted out off of the research in quotation marks that he's done. Talk to the lady, Tony. And then he says, "Oh, when she gave him the perspective of another date and the young lady had hair short like hers,
Hmm.
he said, I like long hair. And studies have shown historically that women with long hair take
Are
better
better
care of themselves."
caregivers.
I'm sorry. That's how I hear him in my head. Women with long hair take care of themselves because it takes a while, to take care of the long hair. And I'm like, Tony, the length of time she gonna take care of her hair is time taken away from taking care of your child.
Yep.
Okay, what if she decides, I can't take care of this long hair because I'm taking care of your baby and my dog baby, and I want to cut my hair? He gonna tell her no?
Well, if she goes ahead and gets it cut, I tell you what, I think he'd be filing for a divorce.
He probably would, and he probably sued a hairdresser that cut it.
Wah, wah, wah.
It's like, daggone Tony, why can't you be with a woman who would shave her head and put a tattoo hairline? That's what you got. I'm sorry, I'm being a little petty with Tony.
Just don't know how he's gonna start this family with this imaginary woman that he has running through his mind.
I don't know, and it's like she can't change. As Louisa said, you put her, the young lady you dated, in a box, but you don't want to be placed in a box. It's like he's placing everybody in the box that he doesn't want to be in, and it's a double standard. And Tony, I don't think he understands what's happening when he looks in the mirror.
Yeah, he practically demanded when she pointed out that some of his expectations are very difficult or very hard to satisfy. He basically said, "Oh, you know what? That brings me back to that conversation we had the other day. I think you owe me an apology. I don't know. I thought it was very unprofessional of you to tell one of your clients that they're difficult. That really, I was taken aback. Wah, wah, wah." Were you surprised? Were you surprised that she apologized?
I'm not surprised she apologized, but y'all, actually, Aubrey is being very demure, very mindful, and graceful as she always is here. Y'all, Tony gave Louisa a dressing down like she was a child. I was embarrassed for Louisa, and I was like, she should, as To Go to Africa said, she need to terminate that contract. Tell him, get your behind back on the plane. I ain't even gonna send a taxi for you, but get out of Brazil. Because the way he dressed her down, to me was belittling her. This woman is on the top of her field. She has so many matches under her belt, and here comes this man dressing her down like this is her first day on the job. I was disgusted for her. He was out of line. He has a right to feel that being, told he's difficult is a little dig. Yes, that is perfectly fine. But the way you address that with another adult is something else. And Tony, that was not the way to talk to someone that you want to set you up on dates or find someone for you or give you wise criticism. That is not the way to address them. What you said was valid. Saying you're a difficult client, is it, translation issue? But the way he talked about it, like, can you understand the English I'm speaking? I was fuming.
Yeah, it had me hot. It had me hot for her because Louisa is nothing but. He said unprofessional. That's totally incorrect. She is nothing but professional, but she has also got to point out things about yourself that maybe you don't recognize. And I think there's a whole lot of things about Tony that he doesn't recognize about himself. I don't know if he's done any introspection at all.
I don't think he has either. I don't think he had any introspection either.
Yeah, I don't. Well, she told him, she told us in the confessional that she has one lady for him to meet, and after this, she's canceling his contract.
Right. Heck, she probably already had the lady lined up, and not to be too fast and too forward. She probably like, okay, let him just have this last date. She probably gonna whisper to the girl, don't expect too much, just do enough for the camera not to embarrass us, and send him on his way.
There you go. That's it. That's all. Right. So our next fun dater is our girl Sarah. Sarah finally met her Prince Charming this time around. He picked her up in a vintage Rolls Royce, and he was a total gentleman with getting the car door and just very chivalrous. What did you think of her date?
Yes, her Prince Charming did arrive in the white chariot, that, vintage Rolls Royce, okay? Vintage. Look at the strap in that photo, y'all. That's how vintage it is. There are no seat belts. There's a strap that you hold on to, a leather strap. That's how vintage, So if you know a vintage Rolls, this is the vintage of the vintage you know about. This is definitely top tier. And I don't know how he is keeping this up in Singapore. I'm only saying that because I don't know Singapore and their mechanics and car parts and everything like that. I don't Singapore doesn't scream to me, vintage model, upkeep is there. It's going to cost him a lot to import parts. That's where I'm going. Any
Okay.
parts for this is going to cost him. He can't have his mechanic go to AutoZone in Singapore and find what's needed for this vintage Rolls Royce. Okay?
No.
He can't. He can't. So this is absolutely amazing. Her white chariot. She was told to dress up, which she did. And she was just so happy that she doesn't have to worry about frog porridge
On her Manolas, no less.
on her Manolos. Okay. So he was there, ladies. He was standing outside of the Rolls waiting for her. He opened the door. He did not allow the driver to do it. He opened the door and he slid in behind her. That was very gentlemanly, very gentlemanly.
Yes. And when he saw her, he was very impressed with her appearance too. He said, "Oh my gosh, she looks like a Barbie doll. She is gorgeous. She's just the type I've been looking for." So he's been looking for somebody like Sarah.
He has. He said, "Hey, you make it look easy, but I know it's not."
Right. And then when they're riding along, not 5 minutes into the date, he starts talking about his ex, and he whips out his pictures, and he's showing her pictures, and then in the picture he's got what, like a 6-8 pack there.
He's got a full indented 8-pack, but it's not just the ex, Aubrey. Where were they, Aubrey? Where were the pictures? Where did he take his ex on a trip?
Oh, the Maldives, right?
Yes, he's like, "Hey, we just went for a little trip in the Maldives," and it's like, "Oh, that's what Sarah's head was going. Oh, trip to the Maldives? Sign me up."
Going cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Exactly. But he said, "Hey, he did not expect to meet a woman of her caliber in Singapore." Mm.
Yeah, that's what he said. Her caliber. So, what did you think of the date? They end up at this. Was that like the Ferris wheel? They actually have a dining Ferris wheel in Singapore.
Yes, just like the Ferris wheel that most big cities have. Atlanta has a Ferris wheel as well. London, those Ferris wheels. You
They
can.
serve. They serve meals.
Yes, you can order a meal. There you can order a meal or just food, appetizers, and go around for a half hour or an hour. You can do that. I know you can do that in Atlanta. So now we know you could do that in Singapore. So he ordered it probably for hours, and they had the meal ready for them. And he said, "Listen, we usually have a waiter to pour the drinks, but we're here by ourselves, and I will serve you." He pulled her chair out. It was lovely.
It was. He was again very chivalrous. So then when he got to asking her questions about how is such a beautiful, gorgeous, well put together woman like you single, and what did she say? What did she say to that?
She said, about, just the dating world out here and the men and not being intentional, not wanting to get married. I think that's what she said.
Yeah. Okay. So then when she turned around and asked him the same question, what did he say?
He said he's in his who phase.
Yes, his 304 phase. To which her eyes went like they almost popped out her head when he said that.
He said, "Maybe I'm still in it. I don't know." And she just is giggling and laughing with her eyes open, like, you don't know if you're done with it or not? Wait a minute. It's like, who else would know?
Right. If you
he has a few girlfriends, he said. He's a few. And she's like, I came to find a man who would not be into this. I came here to find a man that is all about family values and will respect his woman.
Yeah. You think, I'm going to go back to this comment that To Go to Africa has made this point, that she was warned about changing her appearance. His treatment of her reflected how he perceived her. Would you agree with that comment?
Exactly. He saw her as he said she looked like a Barbie doll. What do you do with Barbie dolls? You play
Play
with
with them.
them.
Play with them.
Exactly. He playing with her. She is a toy to play with. I'm sorry to say, but his words told us exactly how he saw her. He saw her as
Mm-hmm.
a plaything.
Mm-hmm.
He
Yeah, he
saw her
did.
as I was like, this again is another theme. Give the people what they want. Tony wanted the long hair. Here you go. Now she wanted the prince with the expensivest. Here you
Mm-hmm.
go. This
Mm-hmm.
is what
Right.
comes with that man with the 8-pack and the vintage Rolls Royce.
Right.
But I
Right.
bet you, I wouldn't say it's just him, just around her. Because I bet you, if he was dating someone who looked like her mama, he wouldn't act like this.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No. No. He would have been talking about how many times a week he goes to church services and whatnot.
Right, right. He wouldn't be showing his abs, but he certainly would show that he goes to the gym. The gym
Mm-hmm.
with the shirt on.
Mm-hmm. Right. I'm sure he had that picture in that Rolodex of photos he had anyway in his phone. uh
Exactly.
yeah. He did. He asked her about her body count, maybe thinking that perhaps she has the same lifestyle as him. She kind of looked horrified when he asked her about her body count.
Well, again, we have to also look at it as we see here in the photo. Her outfit showed a lot. Ladies, I'm not saying you cannot dress however you wish to dress. That is your prerogative. But again, it is a very short skirt, one quick wind, and you're gonna see everything underneath. And then the back was out. It was a halter. This man, was seeing a whole lot of skin. And granted, I'm not saying Singapore is, all stuffy or prudish, but again, this is not showing stately wife in Singapore.
No, no, it's not. It really isn't. Uh, and then when he was talking about the fact that basically the last girlfriend he had, um, the relationship ended because he cheated on her and that he was seeing multiple women, not just one side piece. He had like 4 or 5 side pieces. That threw her for a loop. But the last thing was when he said, but uh, I used to be a porn star. Were you shocked at all?
I was shocked that the man of his level would be a corn star. I was shocked
Yes, corn.
because he's making his money in finances. He's also a motivational speaker. And I was kind of shocked, like, okay, you dived into that. I wanted to know at what age. Was this 20 something him, or is this current him? And then he later on said, yep, he just tried to dibble and dabble because he's got the look, he's got the stamina, he's got the tools for the trade. um and I was like, okay, I was intrigued because again, corn stars are not looked at the same out here now. I need to know, okay, how many videos are out there of you? How many slices and dices could they do? And if you are a star of stamina, okay, are you expecting me to keep up with you? Because that's where we'll have a problem. We ain't making our own films for sale, but I will have a problem, if you are still out here trying to star in movies like that. But hey, I probably watch your footage with you. We can have a movie night, and I'm gonna need to see what you're working with. I have no problem watching it with you. I will critique you.
Well, you know what? That might have been the thing, but for some reason, Sarah, who dresses very revealingly and very suggestive, Sarah, for whatever reason, is a lot more conservative in her mind than she is in her appearance. So the two don't really go together very well, do they?
They don't. She's trying to give us, girl next door while she is, dressed like Marilyn Monroe. I mean,
I was thinking Anna Nicole Smith.
oh, okay. I was thinking Marilyn. I'm sorry, but Anna Nicole can do too. Anna
Yeah.
Nicole she can definitely be a part of it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But I don't here again, there seems to be a disconnect with Sarah as to why she cannot dress this way and why men who don't know her would treat her a certain way because they're looking at her appearance, they're looking at her attire, and the things that she's done to her body to enhance her body, and they're getting a certain image, I think, but she doesn't
They
seem to
right.
understand that. Hmm.
And her matchmaker, Dolly, right? Or Holly?
Oh,
Her match
Dolly. Dolly.
Dolly.
Hmm.
Dolly tried to tell her, because you are all glamified up looking like a Barbie, they will treat you like that. They will treat you like a plaything. And she didn't say plaything. She tried to be gentle. She tried to ask her to tone it down a bit.
Yep.
But again, you are in Singapore, and if we look at even how Harold's dates were dressed, they were
Hmm.
dressed very appropriate, very
Very
covered up,
modest. Yeah,
very
demure.
modest. If you look at the upper echelon of Singapore society and you see their family photos and all of that, it is very, very, demure and mindful. It's very genteel. Even though it is rich, it is
Mm,
still covered up. You have to think, and I wonder if Sarah thinks about this. If you are to be presented to this man's family,
right.
if this man's family sees this show, this is how we met, they will go look at the show. What would they think of your behavior and your dress?
Yeah, that's what you have to think about. I mean, she's already had one date in the red light district, and now this guy is basically, well, at the end of the date, the chauffeur did open the door this time for the both of them, and she finds a huge, and I mean ginormous, bouquet of red roses. And she asked him, "How many? There's so many, I can't even count. How many are here?" And he said 99. She said, "Well, why 99?" And what did he say? Elsie?
Because you got to work hard for the last one. I was like, what kind of work we putting in? What kind of work?
Maybe some videos, maybe some freak offs. Who
For
knows?
one rose. I mean, he didn't even say, if I could get a kiss, you get the last one. He didn't even say that. He's like, you got to work hard. I was like, I
Sounded
hate to
almost
call men boy, but I want to say boy bye.
he sounded almost like a PIMP.
Exactly. But he was, given the vintage old back in the day, Hugh Hefner Playboy kind of, trying to charm a
Yeah,
woman, give her
that
all
vibe.
these roses.
Yeah.
But
You
hey,
got
he did come with flower. He did end the date with flowers, whether or not. But he did say in the car, the height of the date would be if he could get a kiss goodbye.
mm-hmm. He didn't get a kiss though. He did not get a kiss.
We got a kiss on the cheek, but that's it.
On the cheek, yeah. But that was it. Because I think at that point she was pretty turned off by him, and the fact that finding out that he's done the corn, that he's had all these multiple women at the same time that he was dating and seeing, and that he thought that like five is his limit as far as a date in one day. Five women.
Was it 5 women? Was that what
Mhm.
he's talking about? The five?
Well, you know what? Now that you have a point there, because what did you think he was talking about?
I thought he was talking about 5 rounds in the sack. That's what I thought he was talking about.
Well, you know
Right.
what? I thought maybe both. Five
Okay.
rounds in the sack with
So
five different women.
okay. So if you can't keep up, he gonna find someone who can.
Mm-hmm. Oh
Okay. He said 5. I thought he said 5 times a day. Might be a little stretching it, but he could get there.
yeah.
I was,
Right.
I was like, wait a minute, sir. Could we put the blue pill down?
Right.
Um,
Can you go to work? Can you get back to work? Okay.
you don't need to work. I mean, you don't need to work.
Bruce Lee vibes.
He's a
Thank
motivational
you.
speaker. I wonder, does he motivate?
He said in a financial, what was it, a financial
He said the
consultant
boring
also?
part is the financials, but he's also like a
Hmm.
personal trainer, motivational speaker. I wonder, does
Right.
he motivationally speak while he is doing the corn? I mean, does he speak into the ladies while
Oh my goodness, you are
while
best.
handling business?
You're a mess. You know what? This is not after hours, ma'am. Thank you.
This is not a member live. Let me behave. Let me behave.
This is not a members only. Yes, but oh, you said 5 times a day. I thought he meant both. I thought he actually meant 5 performances per day, but with 5 different women as well.
Hey, he got the money for it. He has girlfriends that he, is sponsoring their lifestyle. So hey, he good for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that would have turned me off too. Like the whole thing about five, and just what he was throwing out there. It was a lot. It really was a lot. But I'm surprised. I have to say, I'm a little bit surprised that Sarah stuck to her guns, and she's basically saying she doesn't want to see this multimillionaire again.
I'm surprised too. I thought she would want to, try see if she can change him and mold him or
Hmm.
whatever,
Build a
or at
man.
least get her last rose.
Get her last rose, and maybe some more Manola shoes while she's there, or whatever, Singapore, whatever uh, designer stores. I'm sure they have all of them. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a mess. That is a mess. But that was our girl, Sarah. Uh, I don't know if Sarah. I don't know if Sarah's going to be able to find. What do you think? If she had darker hair and darker weave, do you think that she would be a match for our boy Tony?
No, no, because she would Tony would say he got to spend too much to keep her happy. And
Hmm.
she has the dog on the bed. Don't forget, she got a dog on the bed too.
Oh yeah, she sure did. Her little rat dog, little tiny lap dog. She did.
Exactly, and he ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, he doesn't like that. Well, I don't know. Sooner or later, she thinks. Oh, now last thing, I think that she thought that Dolly set her up, and it was a setup. That Dolly sent her out with who she thought she should go with. Do you feel like that was Dolly's purpose in sending her out with the multimillionaire?
Of course, I would send her out with him too. This is what you want, but she has no way of knowing how he would treat her for real. So the whole body count showing the ex-girlfriend basically treating her some kind of way. I mean, she kind of knew he gonna be a little bit of sleazeball, but I don't think she knew, how he would, carry himself. But again, he can afford the matchmaker, so hey.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. So we shall see. I just thought this would have been her guy right here. He's clearly got money. He's got the vintage Rolls Royce, and he's traveling to the Maldives, and he's doing all these fabulous things. So isn't this the guy that she basically told us she wanted?
Yeah, this is who she needs in her life. The white
Mhm.
chariot and all.
White cherry and all. But we move forward to our girl. Oh, what happened here?
Oh, that was a rose picture.
Oh, yeah, I see it now. Okay. We move to our girl. She's going to the family dinner with Glenn. And Glenn's family, I have to say, I thought they were very, very welcoming. What did you think at first when she walked in?
I thought Glenn planned this and prepared it because there ain't no way we all got the dishes and the wine glasses and everything ready if we weren't prepared. I was like, Glenn, you ain't fooling me. The family ready for this. All the dishes were in the oven, keeping warm till they
Mhm.
arrived. So I was like, okay, okay, Glenn, I see you. You wanted your family. Glenn could be pitching a show in Ireland and say, "This is my family. We could do a really good show," but he don't want to pay a videographer to tape them. So here's the clip off of this show, and here, hire my family. That's what Glenn is giving me.
Wait a minute, say that all again. I'm sorry.
What I'm saying is he could be pitching. Remember, he's in the model industry and all that. He could be pitching a show with his
Mhm.
family, but
Ah,
he don't want
gotcha.
to pay
Reality
for a
show.
videographer to
Uh-huh.
actually film them moving around. So here's this lovely clip on this episode on TLC, and you'll see how my
Ah.
family is really good on camera.
And they're very photogenic. He has a beautiful family. They seem to be not only physically attractive, the mother, the father, the brother, but they also seem to be very warm, welcoming people too.
They are, just what we saw of the edited show. The brother's the only one we didn't hear too much from. But
No.
everybody was there. I recognized those dishes. I was like, my Caribbean family, I see where y'all got it from. These dishes, put together, the clear Pyrex containers with the lids.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this is how my Caribbean family would get down. And the placemats are actually hard. Girl, I looked at the whole place setting. I said, okay, this is where I guess the trailblaze of the Irish that came to Trinidad. I was like, this could have been their influence. I was like,
Okay, I see what you're saying. I
yeah.
see what you're saying now. That influence onto your family and your ancestors. Yeah, because they laid it out. It was very well put together, and so when she walked in and she first sat down, the dad looked at her and he's looking at the wife and he says, she looks like somebody famous. Even her hair is big like and then the wife says, Diana Ross. And he says, yeah, that's it, Diana Ross. And they all kind of chimed in, Diana Ross, Diana Ross. I mean, Glenn didn't chime in. And Amber looked like she was a little startled. She was like, wait a minute now. We don't all look alike. I think she got a little tense with that. Do you understand why she got tense?
Oh hell yeah, because she said it. And Glenn did what he was supposed to do. That was his assignment. Keep his head down, eat his mama's food, and have nothing to say. Because if he said anything, he probably wanted to look at them and be like, I told you not to do that.
I told my Caucasian family not to compare my black friend to my black date to any famous African Americans.
I told them not to. I mean, I get what they're saying, and totally they're not off the wall. I even said it here. She has a big hair like Diana Ross, but today she has the lipstick. Remember when Diana Ross is on the stage, she also has that kind of lip. So
Yeah,
definitely
that
I can
lippy,
see it. I can see it.
And
She could say scissor, but mama and daddy of our particular generation, they know Diana Ross.
Mm-hmm.
They do not know scissor. Okay, they do not know her.
They don't, because I don't.
But then Amber says, "Oh my word!" That is a clip I'm going to bring up in my shorts.
Oh my word!
Glenn has never dated a black girl.
To myself, I'm thinking, why is she surprised by this? There are a lot of people over here that look like him in America that have never dated a black person, but you're over in Ireland. Like, what is the percentage of I don't even know how to say it, black people, because they may not be, different people around the world call themselves different things, okay, right? But black people, what is the percentage in Ireland? Like 0.003?
I don't know. We're gonna have to ask Tony.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's very, very high. Yeah, funny.
Tony's the research department.
The research department, right. But I mean, so to me, for me as a woman, I would have been more surprised if he had dated a black woman. And personally, from my experience dating outside of my race, one of the things that I want to know right up front is your experience with dating other black women. And for me, for the most part, I refuse to date any Caucasian man that had not dated a black woman before, because I don't want to be your first.
I don't mind being your first. Okay, the 2022 census of the Republic of Ireland said that the population that identifies themselves as black or black Irish is 1.5%.
Well, a little bit higher than my 0.003, but I figured, like one percentage point and a little extra added on. So like for every 100 people, there's a black person.
Right. They say this equates to 76,245 people out of the entire population.
And I would imagine most of them are probably congregated in the big city. Now,
right, this is over 3 million people in Ireland. Only 76,000 identify as black.
Right. Now, but help me out here. Now, when we saw him taking her home to meet his family, where they lived at and where he talked about where he went to school and where he went to college, did that not look like the suburbs to you? Because it did to me.
Not particularly.
Okay.
I mean, it looked like the suburb of what the suburbs for the US would be, but not Irish suburbs.
Okay. Well, I don't know, but I just didn't figure he didn't live in Dublin. They said the name of the town he lived in,
Yeah,
and it was not Dublin. So my
no,
point, I'm saying all that to say this. There aren't any black people in that area. That immediate area where he lives, where he spent all his time growing up, like where he would have his elementary, middle school, high school friends. I would be willing to bet my last dollar there are no black people in
probably no
that.
one graduated in his graduating class who was black.
Nope.
So,
So
but
I
that
mean,
doesn't mean, remember, he was in the modeling world.
well, no,
So,
yeah, right. Oh, you know what? That's true. That is true. That
so
is true.
just
So he,
because he ain't brought anybody home, I didn't like her assumption that he did never date a black girl because he could have. Just she wasn't close enough in his hometown to really take home. He could have dated someone while he was modeling and globe trotting, and he was doing the bodybuilding stuff, the male fitness stuff. He's been traveled and around people. Because when she said it means he's not multicultural, I'm like, he didn't stay home.
right.
He's
Well,
well traveled. What brought that on?
I thought, well, you know what? In that moment when she was talking about not being multicultural and accustomed to people from other cultures, I took that she meant as a whole, his family. That would be, i.e., his parents, his brother. And I'm thinking that she's wondering, like you said, he has traveled and he has done things in other places, so he probably has dated someone black. But his thing is, he says that he brings the women home now to meet his parents right off the bat because he's looking to settle down.
Right.
So I think she just kind of thought, well, yeah, but he probably didn't bring any of them home. So why is he bringing me home?
Yeah, but I thought that was an assumption unless it's part of the show we did not know. And
Okay.
to answer your question, I don't mind being your first. I don't mind. Here's the thing. I don't mind being the first black girl you have dated. And here's
Okay.
the thing. It is for selfish reasons. It's not because I'm a nice person, okay? It is
What's the
purely
reason?
selfish.
Tell us the reason.
The reason I prefer to be the first black girl you've ever dated is because then I can set the trend. You can't then tell me, well, no offense to the Pams, the Keisha, and the Tawandas that you done dated before. Tawanda never did this. I thought I don't want you to come back and tell me what the previous black girl you done dated used to do.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm setting the trend. I'm gonna tell you what. Now I have done that. I have dated multiculturally.
You have broken a few cherries, so to speak.
Yes, I have dated multiculturally, and the one that was not, very receptive to it, he was more concerned about people looking at us. And when we walk down the street, it was people are looking at us and we're different. And I'm like, to hell with them. But that's just me. I just don't care how you look at me, see me. It's like, take a picture to last longer. But that's the Brooklyn. That's the Brooklyn side.
I must have some Brooklyn in me too, because I never cared either. I never cared. And
right, but my thing was that's what ended our romance relationship or whatever is when
because he cared. He was more concerned about appearances and people looking, and he was uncomfortable. I take
yes, he was uncomfortable, especially when I brought him to Brooklyn, and he was not having it, being in Bed-Stuy and Brownsville. And I'm like, listen, you just look different. We just here. As long as you stick with me, we cool. And we were fine and cool until But I have dated too where they are very comfortable in my area. It's like they would be, I hate to say, they would be the M&M of the bunch. They would fit right in. And then not only that, I've got Brooklyn, I've got a Caribbean family. We are very eclectic and out there. So again, it's like all these other things. I don't want you coming here and say, well, you're not like the other black girls I've dated. I will be like, thank you very much for coming. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Have a nice day.
Lose my number, but it's been fun. I'd rather be the first one, so I kind of know. And I am, I hate to say it this way, but I am molding you to my specifications. How about that?
Okay, that's interesting. I see. I never looked at it that way and took it that way back when I was much younger. I never took it that way,
But
but that's
before we leave, Amber pissed me off. So tell me when I can tell you when she pissed me off.
okay. Well, go ahead. Tell us, because we see her here giving his mother a hug. Again, the mother was very warm. The whole family was very warm and welcoming. But what did she do or say that ticked you off?
So they're very warm. They she Amber showed that, her mother made sure that she was multicultural. She knew how to, do certain dances. She was
Oh,
just
the dance. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
yes.
She told them that
Yes.
no singer. She doesn't sound like Dana Ross for sure. Just like myself, can't carry a tune. But she said, "But I'm quite the dancer. My mother had me enrolled in ballet, jazz, and clogging." Now go from there.
And Daddy was like, "Oh, clogging? This I got to see." Now, TLC, Amber, I know this is not your intention, but I'm sorry when Amber, for y'all, clogging is kind of like a form of river dance.
Yeah.
And they kind of cleared the area for Amber to river dance, and the family was cheering her on and clapping. Now, y'all, this is not what TLC intended. This is probably not what Amber intended, but all I saw was my sister here dancing and being entertainment for them folks. And I saw red. This may not be how anybody else saw it. It may not be how it was intended. And sometimes this can happen if you are seriously really dating someone who is of a different race. It can aesthetically look like this. But Amber girl, Amber, I needed you to look both ways and realize what is going on here. It did not look good. It did not. It's like, yeah, I know some clogging. I would shake my shoulders and give it a little shimmy, but that was it. But I was not going to get up and dance on your carpet for you to be like clapping me on. I did not like it. It seemed like, I'm sorry, y'all, go back to roots. It seemed like Kizzy was told to dance, and I did not like it.
You went way back. Oh,
I went way back. This is not what they intended, and I understand that. And maybe it's something with me, but it just didn't feel right.
Yeah, to your point, because I didn't take it that way. I really didn't. She did the clogging. Actually, when she said clogging, I wanted to see her do the clogging. So I'm glad she got up and cut a rug, as she likes to say, and she did. She did the clogging. But then the thing that was neat about it is that she got everybody up and they all started dancing. She danced with his father. She danced with his mother. She says, "Oh, you look like you got some moves too, girl." And it was just like a fun thing. Like, if you're out with your friends, you're just all in a circle and you're all just dancing, having a good time.
I would have made an excuse. It's been so long. I know I done did it. I did that as a child. I would have made some excuse. What you're not gonna have, TLC, is footage of me doing this while we all here. I would have been like, "Well, Glenn, come with me. Let's do it together." We would have been side by side. I would not be the only one.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So, like, let me ask you this, because I'm not sure. Where does clogging come from? Is that something part of Irish culture?
I thought so. Sure. I thought so. Sure. It's a folk dance. I know it is.
Yeah, it's a folk dance. I know that, but
it's primarily from Irish step dancing. That's what they say. That's what it has. There are also English, Scottish, German, and Cherokee style step dancing, as well as African rhythms and movements that influence it. So it's kind of clogging is like, they say it was from clogging that tap dancing eventually evolved. That's what is out there in the research. And Tony, I'm gonna cite my source. That
what is your source? Because I'm looking at something that says actually, okay, practicing. Okay, never mind. Go ahead. What's your source?
Right. I looked it up, and I know this is the same place that Tony probably got his information. Tony, it's on Wikipedia and it's on PBS Learning Media. Now, I don't know how long PBS is going to be on.
I'm looking at it now. Yeah, it does say it's put together from the Irish step dance, right?
Yes. So I don't know how long PBS is going to be there for everybody to be able to see. But PBS certainly says, clogging, everything kind of like they say came from clogging, like tap, jazz dance. It's there's also a unique American form. There's, high kicking steps, rhythm, Irish jig. They say all of that came down from clogging, but, it was a Native American dance, and specifically a Cherokee stomp dance. Cherokee stomp dance. Okay? Let's go. Let's give it up for our indigenous peoples.
Yeah, Kay Sharp is gone into it too. She says, right. It's like get up and show the people your dance. We don't just dance. Clogging is known to be an Irish dance, but if you do some more research, it all points to Africa.
Thank you. Thank you, K Sharp. For me, it was the aesthetic of it, of the dancing for entertainment, kind of the aesthetic of who your audience was. I'm not saying that's how it was. Glenn was a perfect gentleman. The talent that Glenn showed me, okay? Now, if this was not edited, the talent that Glenn showed me is he was able to eat his mother's Irish stew. And that shirt is still white with him walking out that door. You see
Oh, yeah. It's crispy white. You're right.
his shirt. He took his jacket off, y'all, and the whole white shirt was there. I know I couldn't eat. It looked delicious. I couldn't eat Mama's beef stew and still walk out there.
Without my 3 spots and stains.
Girl, it would have had at least one spot.
Me too. I would have needed.
I would have had at least one spot. I would have forgotten to wipe my finger on my mouth, and it would have gotten on my shirt. But that is Glenn's talent. But he was very proper and appropriate.
Yes,
even though things look aesthetically different. So Amber, I'm sorry. This tells me he does know how to behave in this multi-ethnic, diverse group. Even if you are his lady and you are the only person of color, Glenn behaved appropriately.
Yeah. Like you said, when they were at the table, when it first came up that, his parents said that she looked like someone in America that sang, and his mother said Diana Ross. He didn't say a word. He's like, I'm not on their side. I'm not on her side. I'm just going to eat my mother's stew.
And he ate it with no bib. He made no spills and no bib.
Yeah, no bib. That's what I was shocked by. I was shocked by that. But what about this? This is right in front of his parents' home.
Practically on the doorstep.
So I'm sure Mom and Dad saw this.
I need Amber to call Monica in Brazil and say, you could be kissing these men on these dates and you do not have to feel guilty about it, girl.
Don't call Kevin. Don't call him and say, I was kissing with this other guy, Glenn, and I met his parents. Don't say that.
And as a makeup artist, Amber knew exactly the lipstick to put on, so her date is not wearing it after their lips touch.
Right. She had that no mess, no fuss lipstick. It stayed on where it was put, and it stayed there.
I'm sure he appreciated that he didn't have to go home with stains on his collar, but he wouldn't mind it because his car is like cherry red.
Yeah, he said, you know what? He said, when can I see you again? And she said, oh, you read my mind. I was wondering the same thing.
Right. So, and she let him say that. She let him lead that. She did have her phone out. Like she was about to ask him for his number, but he jumped. Hey, Glenn jumped. Hey. I'm going to ask you.
I'm the leader.
I'm going to ask you, when can I see you again?
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Smooches. Oh,
and then the smooches. I like that. So what we're learning about Glenn is more assertive than her Kevin. Kevin is kind of like, he went in for the kiss, but that's really about all I've seen him do. And I think back to the last episode, they were texting and she was telling him she was just there stuck in the hotel. He said that his plan didn't work out and she dropped several hints. Well, I'm just here with nothing to do. And he just sent her a thumbs up.
I just didn't like that. She said he basically wasn't, he wasn't changing up his day or putting in much of an effort unless they were in front of each other. And that just told me Kevin just wants to film. But here we are. Glenn is saying, hey, and we don't know. I don't know if Glenn is actually wanting to date her or if he wants extra camera time. But he did behave on his best behavior. Glenn here, who she's kissing. And she said she loved their banter, their back and forth. They have the same energy. I did like that. And his mama loved her because mama could talk your ear off.
You
And
said it.
she
Yep.
said usually the girl, a girl would be like stiff and don't have much to say. I want to be quiet, but Amber has a big personality like her, the mama, and she said we will be great fun. They were like, oh, they were already talking about if
She's
she's
talking
our
about going to
daughter-in-law.
Texas. We've never been to Texas, but if she was my daughter-in-law, I would definitely fly over to Texas.
Exactly. The family's like, hey, we got our passports. We can make it to Texas. How are we doing
Mhm.
this? So they are very supportive, even if it's
They
the first date.
they really were. I think they saw some things in her that they really liked. And like you said, this is an edited show, but I tell you what, I sure would have liked to have been a fly on the wall to hear more of their conversation with her.
Right after they cleaning up, they got to leave those dishes to soak a little bit. After
Hmm.
daddy then helping mama put the dishes in the sink, I would love to hear the conversation.
Yeah. Oh, Amber appears to be very pleasant. I don't understand why she felt she had to travel to Ireland to find a man. Do you think he wants a green card? Hmm.
I
What
don't
do,
think
I'm
so.
gonna choose
He's
you
well
first.
he's well traveled, and an
Mm-hmm.
Irish passport has some power, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But the remember Amber's are, been engaged 3 times.
Mm.
So
That's true. That's true. Three
the
times and
man,
no marriage.
right, the man may not be the problem.
Mm.
I hate to say that, but we don't know all the details as to why she ended each of those 3
Mm-hmm.
engagements.
Mm-hmm.
But we got to still dive into Amber and
Yeah.
see.
Cause I can see one. I can see one failed engagement. But after the first one, I'm thinking to myself, like, is she taking marriage seriously? Because even being engaged, that's, in my estimation, that's a step above being boyfriend and girlfriend. Your man or your woman being engaged and setting the date to be married is a step up. And how you're not looking at it for a lifetime before you say yes, I don't understand. I don't understand that.
And I think she and Glenn would probably work out a little bit better. They're in the same industries. We don't know if the men she was engaged with before was in the same industry, so they
No.
would know her schedule, what she has to do, and the challenges of her field. She's a makeup artist, y'all. She goes, all over men's fitness stuff. She does the makeup for those different competitions. So she would definitely be traveling and working, just long hours. So we don't know the previous man. It could be that was a challenge to the relationship. But
Yeah.
Glenn here used to be Mr. Ireland.
Hmm.
So he definitely I don't know. I don't, that's my question. How is the
Yeah.
Irish public going to take Mr. Ireland being with Miss Texas?
Mm.
That's all
Wow.
I got to say.
Okay. Okay. So we shall see. We got another episode to watch. And as far as the things for next week, what did you see that interests you that you recall?
I saw that they're finally showing us like Amber and Victoria hanging out, getting a pint of Guinness together.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Um I
And and
thought
and
go
and
ahead.
Victoria showing off her new tattoo also.
I know Amber gonna roll her eyes at that. I think we saw Sarah being presented to another man who thinks that she is not wife material. That is the gentle way of saying it.
Hmm. Yes.
And and we also saw Harold being told by his date, which is the same lady he dated before, about how physical intimacy is viewed and maybe not enjoyed in Singapore.
Yeah. That was wild. And he was like, but I enjoy it. He's like, I enjoy it though. I don't know about
Uh,
anybody else. I like it.
thank you, Harold. I really appreciated that. He was like, "You, I enjoy it. Is that It's like, is that going to be a problem?"
Yeah. I'm waiting to hear her answer. I'm waiting to hear her answer because I think one, she's gonna probably impress upon him that she would have to be married to have that type of intimacy. Um, and what she says after that, I don't know. I really don't know.
Right, because she said basically, it is for, only for the time when we're trying to conceive. That's how she sounded. And I was like, girl,
Woo! Oh,
girl.
oh my, oh my, oh my.
She couldn't. She really couldn't date Mr. Prince Charming that Sarah had.
Yeah,
She,
I was about to say her and old boy they never met up. Then I take it because he ain't waiting for marriage.
he daggone ain't, and he trying to be 5 times a day.
Yeah, they would have a power struggle right there. Anything else that we saw from the what's happening next episode? But I think it's Tony. I want to see what happens with Tony. I don't know if I saw him in the previews for next week, but I'm really curious to see if Tony one is going to go out on an actual date with a woman who doesn't have hair down to her waist. And two, if he does, how is he going to like her? What problem is he going to find with her?
Right, and you just brought it up. I don't think we'll see Tony because in the previews we saw Monica as well. She was hanging out with Bruno, and she said Bruno is everything for her, but Bernardo is still in her head. So Monica, I'm about done with you. If your matchmaker ain't done with you, I'm about done. Cause girl, just get out of your head and just date these men.
Yeah, have fun. Like what? I know. I mean, I know. Apparently, she hasn't dated for what, a couple of decades. It seems like
21 years. I guess the daughter's 21.
Yeah, so over 2 decades. But I mean, you're in another country. If the things don't work out, you probably never see these guys again. Just relax and have a good time and try to get to know them. Ask those questions like your matchmaker told you. Ask the questions and stop kissing all the time. I want that kissing.
She is the one that needs to hang out with the other dater, but we cannot have her around Tony because he would heighten her anxiety. So she's the one that needs an Amber or Victoria around to tell her to just chillax.
Yeah, that's so true. That is so true.
I wonder if they did, because it's kind of like, yeah, no, they probably didn't. I was like, no, Tony is the other person in Brazil. Thought that, 2 people. I wish she had a young lady from, maybe she needs a call from her mom or her daughter to kind of chillax her.
Yeah. Her daughter. I think her daughter probably would talk her off the edge and just not stop overthinking everything. And plus, I recall her saying, like, she knows it herself. She said when Luisa asked her, like, who do you see being more practical in your life? And she admitted that it was Bruno. So, like, why do you keep going back and forth with that? Like, I don't know. I guess everybody doesn't have that superpower that I have to just cut it off if it's not working for me, and if it's not a thing, then it's no longer a thing. Quit thinking about the guy.
Exactly. Just because you press your lips with someone does not mean they're your forever.
Right. I think though too. Now that I've said that, I'm wondering how much communication are her and Bernardo still having.
Well, we saw a preview of a preview that, eventually the matchmaker going to suggest that we all sit in the same room, and Monica just about had a conniption. So she don't understand how you could have everybody in the same room, and the matchmaker's like, we're all adults. We can talk about this.
Yeah.
So we gonna see that. But next week is certainly going to be interesting, especially as K Sharp says in the chat, I can't wait to see my Harold.
Yeah,
I enjoy his journey, and I do enjoy us talking about this because we have a good time. But what I like about our recaps is we're not tearing down anybody.
Not at all. I still love Amber. I think the only one I'm having the biggest problem with is Tony, but I just take him as a prankster. Like, he's just on the show for comedic laughs and stuff like that. Well, tell us where they can find you and what you got going on your channel.
Well, I am Elson932 here on YouTube, and you can find me covering here, Match Me Abroad on Tuesdays with actually Aubrey. Tomorrow will be King's Court, where we talk about, the 3 kings that they say they're looking for their queen, but I don't know. Fridays, we have Elson Unscripted. That's where the chat decides what we're going to talk about, what we're going to do. We cover music, we cover what's in the news, whatever the chat want to talk about, and it veers from there. On Saturdays at 5:00, it is Project Runway, where we talk about the fashions. We don't do the workroom. If you don't watch the show, that's okay. On my channel, it's okay if you don't watch the show. We're going to put up the pictures. We're going to grade the fashion. And we're going to have a good kiki and laugh. Sunday, we do unsolicited advice where we just give the internet the advice, and it gets salacious sometimes. And I'm trying for members. We have 2 levels of membership on my channel, and member lives are Mondays where I present you with, some bachelors and bachelorettes, and we give some very raunchy advice to out there. So if you want a good time, it is adults only on Monday nights at 8:00. It is adults only. So put on the headphones because we cannot have the kiddies listening to us on Monday. But we definitely have a good time here. And Love is Blind UK season 2 starts tomorrow. I will be doing videos, and then I'm trying for a weekly live. So make sure you are subscribed so you know what's going on around here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, guys. And we'll be back on my channel. Actually, Aubrey Pod will be back on Sunday at 6 p.m. And we'll be reviewing Ready to Love and all the shenanigans that go with it. All right. So we'll see you then. And we're going to shake and shimmy our way on out of here. Bye, guys.